Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well and staying safe during this time. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Like I said, thank you so much for checking me out. If you haven't done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button just right below the video. Cool, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And if you're returning, welcome back. Thanks again for your support. I truly do appreciate having you here.
The SEC has gone too far in their attack on Ripple and XRP holders, and now it's time for them to lose. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple co-founder Chris Larsen have each submitted their initial answer to the SEC's original legal complaint against them, although it has been amended. And each one of their responses is over 100 pages. It's incredible the amount of work that must go into just litigating this entire process. It's completely absurd. Sometimes I'm just astounded by it, frankly. And when I see documents like this and I start reading through them, like, holy freaking hell, like somebody had to actually sit there and type up all this stuff and put in like an intense amount of brain power, into this to write something that had actual relevancy to what was going on here. But I want to share with you some of the specifics here that caught my attention, because I'll tell you this here even at the outset of the video. Ripple's attorneys, including the attorneys for Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larsen, they're actually, and I love seeing this, they're actually attacking Howey, the SEC, well, specifically the SEC's application of Howey as it pertains to digital assets, cryptocurrencies. They're actually attacking it, as they should, of course, but it's just fire seeing stuff like that. So anyway, plenty of nice little tasty tidbits to share with you. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. First of all, credit to James K. Filan, XRP community member and attorney, who shared these legal documents. And John Deaton's organization, Crypto Wall, shared them as well. Always want to give credit where it's due because I am tremendously appreciative. First, here's a comment from a section I'm going to read, but here's a comment first on this section that I'm about to read from attorney Jeremy Hogan, who of course runs the very popular YouTube channel Legal Briefs. And he wrote the following because, again, like I cited just a moment ago, there are two separate 100-plus page documents, one from Brad, one from Chris. And so here's what Jeremy said. A good thing about having co-defendants is that they can raise the same issues from slightly different perspectives. Here, Attorney Solomon comes at the same issues as Ripple, but from oblique angles, and his preliminary statement really highlights the problems with the SEC's case. And this is pure fire, what was written here. Check this out. And again, this is from Brad Garlinghouse's legal team, because again, like I said, separate documents. So here's what was written. This case is about the SEC seeking to do. Nope, I read that right. Sorry, folks. This case is about the SEC seeking to do through after-the-fact litigation what it has failed to do through deliberative guidance and rulemaking. The SEC is seeking to push the boundaries of the securities laws into new areas where they have never been understood to apply before. It is seeking to send a regulatory message to the market and to create a new standard for how digital assets will be regulated in this country. And it is seeking to project its own jurisdiction into a newly emerging field without giving any clear guidance to the market, including Mr. Garlinghouse, as to how to apply the federal securities laws to this new type of financial technology. In short, it is now seeking to obtain a litigated victory on the back of regulatory opacity that it itself created. The SEC has gone too far. The realization of its policy aspirations should not and cannot come at the expense of Mr. Garlinghouse's rights. And so here you can see clearly highlighting the fact that this is just regulation through enforcement. We know for sure, anybody with half a brain knows, that there was not market clarity. There's nothing but market confusion. In fact, there's no shortage of market confusion, not just from Ripple. Talk to any participant in this space. It couldn't be more obvious. That's why I keep thinking, like, this has to be a slam dunk win in the end. If there's not going to be settlement, right? How could it not ultimately be? Especially based, and fine, we don't know all the evidence, so something could come out and we'll be like, oh, okay, then we didn't know that. That doesn't look good. Fine, maybe. But everything we've seen to this point, almost everything anyway, is incredibly good for Ripple and for XRP holders, which is why I'm so optimistic, big picture here. Now, here's an XRP community member, Bill, who is also an attorney, and he wrote the following. The Garlinghouse answer attacks both the Howey test, or at least its application to digital assets, and the SEC overreach and lack of clarity and guidance. And this section, this might be my favorite actually in the whole thing. Check this out. It reads as follows. Mr. Garlinghouse vehemently denies the SEC's core allegations in this case. According to the SEC's complaint, filed after a 30-month-long investigation, Ripple has been engaged in a nearly decade-long unregistered securities offering, and Mr. Garlinghouse and Mr. Larson knowingly or recklessly aided and abetted such unregistered securities offering. In other words, if in the SEC's telling, Mr. Garlinghouse knowingly or recklessly started helping Ripple break the law from the moment he set foot in the company. And, according to the SEC, Mr. Garlinghouse personally violated the securities laws because he sold some of the XRP that he received from Ripple as compensation for his services as CEO. These allegations are unfounded. And here's the fire part. This is my favorite part right here. They are all premised on applying a World War II era precedent regarding sales of contracts for interests in orange groves to the nascent technology around digital assets in blockchain. Folks, when you word it like that, the ridiculousness of it does start to sink in a little bit, doesn't it? And then they also wrote, it is an inapt analogy, and one that Mr. Garlinghouse could never have foreseen would apply based on his understanding of the business that he was recruited to help lead and develop. Now, let me just pause to note, and they actually highlight this separately in the document. I don't feel like I need to read through this portion, but I'll let you know. Brad Garlinghouse was obviously not a founder of Ripple. In fact, excuse me, he wasn't even hired to work at Ripple until 2015. And when he was hired, it wasn't as CEO. His initial position was COO, Chief Operating Officer. And he was in that role for somewhere in the neighborhood of 1 year. And then Chris Larson wanted to move on and do something else, and Brad Garlinghouse ended up being promoted from COO to CEO. And it was at that point that he got XRP as part of his compensation package. But when he was hired as COO in 2015, he did not get any free XRP. It was not any portion of his compensation package. It wasn't until 2016, but here they're claiming from the moment he stepped in the door, he was just breaking the law. Breaking the law. No, clearly not. And then he also got some additional XRP in 2019 as part of his compensation package. But this was in lieu of actual cash. So what they negotiated was, rather than him get paid in dollars, he'd get paid in XRP, which is much more risky, which is another reason I get kind of pissed off a little bit when people are claiming that him selling an asset that was part of his compensation package is wrong. So you have a problem with that, but you wouldn't have a problem if he was, instead of getting paid in XRP, he was just paid in dollars, and then he did whatever with that. You wouldn't have a problem with that, even though those dollars that he's getting paid in still came from the sale of XRP from Ripple, which for some reason you don't have a problem with that. You don't have a problem with Ripple selling the XRP, but if you guys, for some reason, when it's the individual, especially if the price of XRP is going down during a bear market, or tough times after the SEC even came after Ripple and the price started tanking, people had serious problems with that, and I just don't think it was logical. It was just emotional, if anything. And I'm sitting there, I kept saying, guys, it's part of his compensation package. So whether it was dollars or XRP, it's his, and it's none of your damn business. That's how I look at it anyway. But regardless, it's good to see that from Attorney Solomon here, just pointing out the ridiculousness of this and pointing out just completely incompetent the SEC is in the way that they're applying the Howey precedent from the 40s to cryptocurrency. Because I'll tell you what, the people, think about back then. You think they even could have perceived of the internet? No, and then cryptocurrencies on top of that, because cryptocurrencies obviously need the internet to exist. Do you think they could have foreseen any of this? No. And they just shoehorn this all in there. It just doesn't make any damn sense, frankly. And then there's also this, I found this fascinating. I'm not going to go through all the defenses. There's something like 8 of them, but if you go to page 96 here, I just found this portion interesting. Fourth defense. Mr. Garlinghouse is not an issuer, underwriter, or dealer. Mr. Garlinghouse did not violate Section 5 of the Securities Act because he is not an issuer, underwriter, or dealer, and the Securities Act's registration requirement therefore does not apply to his alleged sales of XRP. So, pause to note there. It's clear it doesn't apply to him, but they still went after him. That's why it's a really hostile action. It's completely inappropriate what the SEC did, and that's why once we found that they were going after the individual defendants, Garlinghouse and Larson.
I'm your guy. I will keep you posted. I'm your advocate. I'll be back on a daily basis, usually multiple times per day, with these videos to keep you updated with everything going on. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't done so, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to share any of my videos with your friends, family, social media, or anybody who may care to listen. Thanks so much for your continued support. I'm always here for you. I want to help you through this time. So thank you so much for continuing to choose me. Enjoy your day, stay safe, and I'll catch you again probably in a couple hours. Thanks, everybody. See you later.